Please remember to like, subscribe, and never forget to ring that bell. What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? I am Chris Knight. This is the Bad Batch Roundtable here on Khaos Central. Oh, wow. Let's breathe for a second there. How's everybody doing? We're going to go around really quick and let you talk, or let you hear from everybody here and see what they've got coming up. Danny, we'll start with you. Tell everybody about yourself, what you got going on your channel. And
what up? I am Danny, aka Comet Chat. You can see me tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be on Storms Live. Then tomorrow night, I think it's Chris Show, The Rule of 3 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch us. So, hey, just ready to get rocking and rolling with this next episode of the Bad Batch.
Exactly. Anta, go ahead.
What up, guys? Big Forward Entertainment. You guys know the channel. You know where we be. But yeah, make sure to check us out. Everybody else on the panel, and just here to talk about this nothing burger of an episode.
I have some questions about this one that I'll ask as we go along. And actually, I'll start with it after we go around here. So, okay, Shifty, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
I'm Shifty.
Okay, and Austinator, tell everybody about yourself.
Hello, I'm the Austinator. I do some things throughout. You can find me on the Bad Batch Roundtable on Sundays. You can find me on my channel Wednesdays and Saturdays for the DC Animated Movie Universe reviews. You can find me on the Basco Scenario. The Basco Scenarios channel.
Wow.
God, I'm struggling today. You can find me on his channel for the Hangout, and you can just find me everywhere on everybody's channels. So thanks for having me on, Chris. Can't wait to talk about this. Well, I don't know what to call it. I guess I'll just call it a shit episode.
Interesting.
Wow.
And last but not least, Elihu.
Hang on. First of all, Austin, you are struggling today because when Chris asks tell people where to find you, you tell people to find you here when they're already here. So yeah, you are struggling mentally. I understand that mental state.
Look who's talking.
That was a good movie. Yes, I am an old person. And speaking of old persons, I have a YouTube show called What's Up with the Universe, where I talk about the cosmic universe. They work from basic astronomy to complex astrophysics. And I also have some little shorts uploaded. And I will be also live streaming from the Denver airport on Thursday. Look at some of the strange murals and other stuff that's behind TSA that most people don't get a chance to see. I'm also going to be on the wrap-up in a couple hours. I'm going to be on Name That Soon, the last show before the finals. Let's see if I get a chance to win this time. Probably not today. I don't know if Chris is going to put a poll up. It's like, is Eli going to win today or not? Finally. That's a good idea for
I don't do that, because if I do anything, I mean, I try not to, jinx you. It just happens naturally.
Hey, jinx the cat.
I'm
a bad driver.
Okay. All right.
And I'm also Instagram and Twitter. So yeah, I'm going to be live streaming on Instagram from the Denver airport on Thursday morning around 9:30, tentatively. Local time.
All right. Now, before we get to our overall thoughts on here, I wanted to bring this up, and we're going to put this in as a poll question. So let's see here. Let me get it in here. Make sure we get it put in. The question I'm going to ask is Riot Racing a ripoff or an evolution of pod racing? I want to know what you guys think. Is it a ripoff, like a direct ripoff? Because here's my thought. I noticed that Disney is constantly trying to make up characters that are better, that like outshine, let's say, legacy characters. So like Rey outshines Luke. Andor's a bigger person than, whatever. It's like they take their characters and they try to make them look like they're better and, they're the better than what George Lucas came up with. So is this an evolution of pod racing, or is this a direct rip-off saying we're better, this is a better thing?
Can I go first?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
A direct rip-off, bro. Absolutely rip-off. When I seen it, I'm like, this is not Riot Racing, it's pod racing. What are we doing here? Yeah, it is complete rip-off.
It's not a ripoff, dude. It's an evolution because the original pod racing was basically NASCAR in space. You had a track you had to go through, and anybody who's a common driver cannot drive a NASCAR race. You had to be a specific type of person to do a pod racing. This right here, Riot Racing, brings it up to an extreme. It's like Demolition Derby / NASCAR, where anything goes. I mean, it proves that you don't have to be a Jedi with quick skills. You have to be a great pilot, great strategic, like Tech was. I mean, this was great. I love this new evolution of pod racing. But they should have had Fody back, the voice. Greg Bruce, bring Fody back as the voice for nostalgia purposes.
Okay.
Well, the only reason why Anakin is because he was the only human that could do pod racing. You don't have to know the Force to do pod racing, right? But this one, I guess, it's a ripoff, 100%. Caca.
Okay. Austinator, what do you think?
I think that it is a 100% absolutely proven ripoff. I mean, it is 100% similar in every single way, and the only thing different is the name, and by the way, the name is just ridiculous. Riot Racing? Like, couldn't we come up with anything more creative? I mean, let's think about this. You have vehicles with that basically resemble pod racing, and death traps that also have pod racing, so rip off.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have weapons and shields and offensive and offensive weapons.
Yeah, I got that. So, Danny, what do you think?
I'm inclined to agree with Eli, who can't believe I'm saying that, but I think it's an evolution. Only because, like, if you watch Roller Derby, then if you watch Alita Battle Angel, that was a whole different evolution of roller derby. They had all that kind of stuff where they could cut people up and shoot and all this kind of stuff, and it was more aggressive. In pod racing, they were like racing the terrain, and the only outside thing they had was the Tusken Raiders trying to shoot at them. But on this, they had defensive weapons. They had things where they could pull out the back, whatever he called it, that walrus thing, called it the hitch, whatever. It was just kind of like what Eli who said, the NASCAR racing. They was racing against racing, but now they got weapons and all kind of shields and all that kind of shit. So to me, I think it's just an evolution of it. Just kind of like how flag football evolved into regular football. So kind of sports, they evolve into different things. It's the same baseline sport, the same baseline thing, but sometimes there's a little twist and turn that makes it evolve to be a little bit more aggressive than the former version of itself. So I think it's an evolution.
Okay. Shifty.
I say neither. I think it's like the ECW to the WWE of pod racing. So I just think it's a different promotion, Just somewhere else they're having races. They're probably still having pod races on Tatooine, and this is just their form of it on a different planet.
Interesting. Okay. I guess I'm kind of in the middle between. It comes across as a ripoff, but I see them calling it an evolution, which it kind of is. But at the same time, I kind of see it like Shifty does. I just think this is something like Canada has football, but it's not American football, but it's similar. You go overseas, football is not football, it's soccer here, you know, so there are variations of the same sport around the world that, while at times are similar, may be just, I don't know. I'm
There's
sure. Yes.
Just because we took football, have a Canadian league, and changed a few things, if we copied the NFL, we're still a knockoff of the NFL. We're still a copy of that.
Like the XFL.
We just made a few changes.
Yeah.
Like arena football. Arena football, regular football. Arena football. You have buffer zones. You have padding right there. It's shorter indoors. It's like 100 yards or 90 yards, like that. It's same football rules, but it's played differently.
But is Lucha Libre a ripoff of American wrestling, or is Japanese wrestling a ripoff of American wrestling? So
depends.
Yeah, look at it that way.
First. That absolutely depends on which game first it is.
Yeah, but if you change the rules up to it, or change, for instance, like on the 3-on-3, it's basketball, but they got a 4-point violation. I mean, a 4-point shot. And they got this kind of. So it's kind of an evolution of a base subject. If you got a base model of something and you change something different, no matter if it's minute or whatever, that's a form of evolution. So we just kind of saying the same thing but different. It's different points of view.
And that's why.
Okay, so here's an example. You have Slick Rick and you have Dana Dane. Slick Rick came out first. Dana Dane raps exactly like Slick Rick, but has a little bit of different, maybe storytelling. You still have an evolution to it, but you still ripped off the person, because if it wasn't for the first one, you never have the second one. So if it's not for the NFL, we never have the CFL. So even though we made changes to it,
but what about the NFL to rugby? I mean, it's like they kind of took rugby and did some things to it.
You could say that too.
I mean, that's why I asked, because I think it's a little mixture of all of the above. What Shifty said, like, and I'm not going to get all philosophical here, but like the great flood of the world that's in the Bible, it's also in Mayan culture. It was in Egyptian culture. It's been like, and even in these cultures are separated by thousands of miles. They have similar stories. So was that because they got passed along? So, for instance, somebody sees pod racing, goes back to whatever the place was that they were at, and says, I'm going to make something like that. I'm going to put weapons on it and stuff. So then it kind of becomes an evolution. I'm going to try to make it better. But my thing is this just seems to me, though, ultimately like another Disney thing of, why not just bring back pod racing in this? Why not? What's different besides the fact that, yes, we're talking like 15, 20 years down the line, perhaps they would have lost the boosters on the outside of the pod, but you can still call it pod racing, could you not? I mean,
I'll tell you why. It's
sorry, go ahead, Shifty. I was going to say something.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Shifty.
No, I just said I'll tell you why not. It's filler. That's why. Why not?
Okay. All right. Very good. All right.
Let me ask you a question, Chris.
Yeah.
Is Death Race 2000 an evolution of racing, or is it just a ripoff of NASCAR with fancy killing people? Just killing people.
In the context of what the movie is, if I remember right, the racers are prisoners, and if you win the race, you get released, right? It's been a long time since I've seen the movie. Is that the one?
No, it's the most points, you get to shake the president's hand. You get a cash prize, you get the most points. First place, it doesn't matter to get first place, you got to get the most points, like killing people, running people over. All people worth certain points, pedestrians worth certain points.
That's a mixture between gladiatorial combat and NASCAR type combat, NASCAR type racing. Again, that's a difficult thing to say. It's like kind of a mixture of all of it, except for the fact is they're not trying to say NASCAR. They're putting it in a different context. In the Star Wars universe, when you already have an established type of racing, which is pod racing, you can put that someplace else because we know that pod racing happened in more than just Tatooine. They talk about it. They establish it. And that's what I'm saying here is like, it's like, why kind of do this? If it's an evolution, why didn't pod racing just evolve and still get called pod racing, but evolve with weapons and stuff?
Right.
That's why I see this as being more of a ripoff, but it's this weird thing of everything all in one. Anyways, we're gonna go on. We'll get to this. Let's see here. We got 12 votes on this one. 66% those say evolution. I don't know. Okay. Well, anyways, so overall thoughts. Let's go with Danny first. Danny, tell me, what are your overall thoughts of this episode?
I like this episode. I saw where they was trying to, I guess some people call it character development. We were seeing a different side of Tech and not so much the Mossabon guy, Ripper.
Yes,
Record.
We saw more of a personality from Tech because he was like the blah one of the bunch for me. But you can kind of see what was happening. Yeah, I can see it a mile away that he's going to have to get in there and use his statistics and his computerized and his super genius IQ to figure out how to win it. So this was, you could see the story of how it was going to go. And what was very interesting to me was the ending and that guy saying that they can't trust Sid. So I'm trying. They're putting that in the story to see whether or not I'm guaranteed them down the in the show. It's probably coming to, is she going to sell them out to the Empire or is she going to do what's right? So I'm thinking that's what they're kind of leading up to. But I didn't hate this episode. I didn't fall asleep on it like I've had some shows in the past. So it was okay. Wasn't nothing to write home about, but I didn't hate it.
Okay. Anzo, overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts, like we were saying, I thought it was just a real, like they took a piece of Phantom Menace and said, hey, let's put this in an episode, right? There's character development, like Danny said, but what does it do for the plot of the show? You know what I mean? Nothing. I didn't like it. I was like, nothing burger episode. So that's
okay, very good. Shifty.
Last week's episode, one of the series' best. This week, one of the weakest. It was filler. It was, like he said, nothing burger. Last season had so much going for it with the aftermath of Order 66 and the chip conspiracy. You had Crosshair's defection, the Empire shutting down Camino, the team settling into a mercenary role for hire role. On top of having arcs like Omega getting kidnapped by Fennec Shan, the Hera two-parter, the destruction of Camino. We're now a fourth of the way into the season, and they really haven't done jack shiznit outside of small hints thus far, and I need more than that, and it's not given to me so far this season.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question, Shifty.
Yeah.
What time do you watch these episodes?
When they drop, usually.
Okay.
Okay.
If it's a nothing burger,
All right.
then why the hell you get about 3 o'clock in the morning to watch nothing burger? That makes no sense.
I'm up at that time usually.
Okay.
Alrighty. Austinator, go ahead.
Everything that Anzo and Shifty said was pretty much on point. This episode was literally nothing. I mean, it literally just took the pod racing scene from Phantom Menace, which I liked the pod racing stuff. It was like the pod racing was fine, but again, like Shifty said, we're a fourth of the way through and we still have yet to know what's going on in terms of the story. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. It was filler and I did not like it.
Austinator and Shifty are my boys today. Let's go.
Does that haterhead go down smooth down your throat, Austinator?
Yes, it does. It goes down really nice.
Oh my God.
I can give you some, Danny. You want some?
Last week was great. Last week was great.
I do not want that shit.
It goes down nice. You mix that up with some.
Y'all need to look in your wallet and take your Star Wars cards out and go to the nearest infernal,
And burn it.
burn it.
I have a lighter.
Yeah, burn it. Roll it up in
Wow.
your weed and smoke it. 'Cause
Danny, do you know how rare it is for me to not like a Star Wars show?
I can't tell today.
About as rare as it was that you supposedly didn't like She-Hulk, but then we have proof that you loved it.
I like
Yeah, for real.
I
Yeah,
like four.
Yeah, you changing midstream on shit
For real.
like a mother.
For real.
Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, it sucks. Oh, it's okay.
Facts.
You're shifty yo-yo.
Yeah.
All right, Elihu, what did you think?
You know I don't like filler episodes, and this one's a filler episode because it had nothing to do with the rest of the storyline of the Bad Batch. You want to do character development? Do it within the storyline like you have always done, Star Wars. Come on.
Facts.
This is a filler episode.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else?
There are some positives and dispositives. And some
Okay.
non-positives, so.
We'll get to that. It's called likes and dislikes, but okay, we'll get to that.
Okay, technical.
My overall thoughts are there are some really good things going on in this episode, but the racing scene kind of takes you out of it. I love the racing scene in this. We'll talk about that here in a second, but it also really ruins this episode, I think. So we're gonna go and talk about our likes. Let's start with Elihu. Likes.
Thank you for not having Omega wander off by herself. Thank you for that trope. Stop that trope. Thank you. I'm tired of seeing that subplot line. Thank you. Okay, I like that part. Finally, I did like the nostalgic pod racing parts. They bring back memories. I love that. I like the fact that Tech got a chance to show us that he doesn't need Jedi powers. He just has to be a really damn good pilot to do a pod race. Thank you for uncanonizing that whole.
It's not
Jedi
pod racing.
Thank you for uncanonizing the whole Jedi skill needed to be a pod racer. Thank you. Just gotta be a damn good pilot. Tech proved that. If you're a good pilot, you can be a pod racer or a death racer. Okay, or death match, whatever it's called now. For the right racing. What else do I like about this thing? Shit. That's basically about it that I liked about this episode. Yeah, thank you, Tim. Riot Race, yeah. Kylo knows. Kylo Ren knows. Yeah, that's basically it. Sorry. I got some dislikes too.
Okay. All right, cool.
Well, we're
not letting
there yet.
Omega go out and the racing and that Tech is the one that's able to race.
I gotta go against Eli.
Sorry, Harry, I got one more like.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that when that big dude, the gambler guy,
Wrecker
was trying to take no.
Oh no. Okay, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. Was trying to take Sid. Omega was the only one that spoke up because it's reminiscence of how she bonded with her and Sid, how they bonded over that fighting machine. It's like, okay, she's like a mother instinct to her because she was a little kid when this happened. And she grew up around her. It's been like a year or so the past, and she's grew up around her, so she thinks it's like an older mother or an older sister persona. And that's like respect for a little kid. So I think that's why she spoke up before Wrecker or Tech ever said anything. I love that aspect about that character, about that part. That was actually with the storyline about Omega's development, with the storyline about how she's something who she's found, who she is, who they are. Yeah, that was part of the storyline connection with the character development. I like that part. Okay, Anto.
Yeah, so you said that it was a retcon because Jedi can do, but it's not pod racing. They're two totally different. That's why they're named different things. So it's only humans, only Jedis. Well, only humans or Jedis that can do pod racing, and it looks like riot racing anybody can do. So totally different.
Yeah, mostly droid racing.
All right, Austinator likes.
Oh God, it's me. Well, the racing was kind of okay, but even then, it made me just want to go back and watch Phantom Menace and watch that scene all over again because that scene was way better in that.
Facts.
I guess I do like them setting, like, kind of planting the seeds of distrust between Sid and the Bad Batch. Basically, just the crime lord. I'll call him crime lord. I don't really care enough to know his name, but crime lord tells them, "Yeah, don't trust Sid." Then they're like, "All right, we'll we'll see, we'll see." I like that, but I don't know. It feels like we've kind of had that whole thing before. I don't know. That's really all about it, honestly. Nothing else. Oh well, no, hang on a minute. I will say I did kind of like how throughout they were building up, going through the left tunnel, I think, which is like the death trap, and then kind of they were setting it, building it up as, oh, don't go to the left, but then Tech has to goes to the left and uses it to his advantage to win. I thought I thought that at least was done well, but that's really all I have.
Okay. All right. Shifty. Likes, dislikes, whatever. Go ahead.
Okay,
Or
usually,
likes, dislikes,
well,
just likes.
well, with Andor, I usually have like 5 minutes of likes. With this, I've got 5 seconds. I didn't have to take any notes this week. Ernie Hudson, he voiced the gangster dude, and there was a purple C3PO droid that looked cool.
Kudos for Ernie Hudson, yeah.
That purple C3PO droid just reminds me of somebody you'd find in like West Hollywood. And anybody who's been to West Hollywood knows what I mean by that terminology.
Or in the Castro in San Francisco.
Well, yeah, that's true. Anyways, okay, all right. Big it forward. Anzo, tell us your likes, and I'm going to time you because I'm pretty sure you're going to talk for much over the time.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I got so much to say. This episode, I think the pod racing was okay. I like the fact that I didn't have to deal with fucking Omega throughout this episode. Right, she just did a little talking here or there, but it was more about tech, so that was okay. But other than that, nothing. Okay. I didn't. Oh, we'll get that in the dislikes. But go ahead. Yeah, that's it. That's about it with the likes.
Okay, Danny.
Like I said, I didn't hate the episode. I like the Ernie Hudson character. I thought he was pretty cool. One thing, I wait for dislikes, but I really like the way they change up their Bad Batch, their uniforms. They got the different little color variations. I like that. Tech is starting to grow on me. I thought, to me, he was like the most blandest out of 5 of them, but this episode he kind of moved the needle a little bit for me for his likability. I really like Eli said, seemed like Sid and Omega is getting a little bond here, and I can see I think it's telling clearly there's going to be some kind of point where she's going to be at a point of betraying them, and then she's going to do the right thing. That's what I think is going to happen. I could be totally wrong, but I guess you could label this as a filler, but we'd have to see more of it to then kind of put all the pieces together and say, yeah, this you can take this one out, you cannot take it out, because we don't know whether or not there's a piece that was in here or the piece that what he said at the end is something that's going to be more relevant featured later on down in the story. So we just have to see. But right now, if I'm just looking at it, it does seem kind of fillerish, but you have to see the whole product first, and then you can go and kind of dissect, pick apart what was filler, what was not, what episode was needed, what was not needed. But like I said, I didn't have no problem with the pod racing or the ride racing, whatever you want to call it. I think if memory serves me correctly, that you don't have to be a Jedi to do the pod racing, but because Anakin was Jedi sensitive, that what made his reflexes faster, so he was able to be more effective in that. It seems like in this ride racing that you don't have to have any kind of force senses or anything. You just got to be a very good pilot, I guess, be strategic in thinking, and know how to fly whatever device that was. We saw firsthand that Tech quickly assessed it, looked at it, was able to find out the flaws and things for his advantage. getting rid of his weapons, I thought was crazy at first, but it served his purpose, and he was able to win them. So I like how he put all that together. So it was okay.
Okay. All right. The likes, definitely the wannabe pod racing I thought was cool. There were just some elements in that were really cool, and definitely the fact that they're paying attention to keeping Sid as a we still don't know character. Saying that at the end of this episode was a smart move because we're starting to get a little complacent with Sid. Sid's just their boss, their guy, the person sending them out to do stuff. And now they meet somebody that she's dealt with in the past. And this is somebody who's obviously a pretty crooked person. You can tell by the way that they did things. And he stops them and says, wait, hey, if you're going to be around her, she's going to turn on you. What's going on, guys? Good to see you. Sherry, good to see you. We got a poll. No, we're about ready to have a poll up here in a second, so make sure you vote on that. But
phrasing.
We have a poll, not a poll, up. So please vote on that. It's yours. Little show me. I showed her. I showed you mine. That thing. No, God, no. Anyways, I think it was a smart move. We talked about this last week. I think it was a smart move to try to pare down not all 5 of them together. I think that was a smart move. And they did a good job of having, I guess, better pairing. So Wrecker and Tech had their moments together. Omega had her moments. Sid had a couple moments, but they separated them off in ways that it was Sid's off screen, but she's not lost. Omega might not be right on camera, but she's right there. They did a good job of trying to focus in on each of the characters. So that was kind of probably a step in the right direction on how they're handling this grouping of the Bad Batch. But anyways, those are some things I liked. Now we're going to talk about dislikes. We'll start up here with Danny. Danny, dislikes. Actually, first, before we do that, let's do another question here. Since we talked about it here, do you think they are trying to set up a betrayal by Sid in this episode, or as a couple of you already mentioned, possibly a I lost my thought, my words. A redemption arc. We know she's a crook. We know she's doing crooked things. She's a gangster type character. What do you think they're setting up personally? Do you think they're setting up betrayal, or do you think they're setting up a redemption?
I think they're setting up a betrayal, but they're going to do a switch and bait and make it be a redemption arc. Because this kind of goes into my dislikes, so I'll wait till everybody answer that question.
All right.
I think.
Go ahead.
I don't think they're gonna do a betrayal. I think they're just gonna put it in the clone's head, right? And something's gonna happen where it's is she there? Did she do it to us? Did she do this? And we're gonna find out, no, she didn't. Something else happened. But they put it in there to make you think that she's gonna betray them. But I don't think she's gonna betray them.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Did you have something else to say, Danny?
No, I just said.
Okay.
I think me and I was kind of saying the same, a little different. He said he's not. I think she may betray him, but then grow a conscience, and then bail out.
Betray him and then go back to save him.
Yeah,
that type of move. Okay, cool. All right,
possible too.
Okay, Shifty.
I honestly think they're just going to retread Lando. It's just going to be a Lando deal.
Okay, but that's basically what Danny's saying, and it's kind of what but that's a stereotypical Star Wars arc.
She'll be forced into something, but at the same time, she's actually playing for the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. Austinator.
Basically what Shifty and Danny said, so I really have nothing to elaborate on that.
Okay. Elijah?
I believe this is going to be a betrayal because she now knows that she's very manipulative, and she now knows that Omega can be on her side. So she may try to betray and get Omega to betray her brothers. Because remember what Hunter said at the beginning: Jedi used to work with her. Never trust the word trusted was that come out of Hunter's mouth, but worked with the Jedi. Worked with her. Worked with this person. Never trusted. So yeah, it's going to be a huge setup.
Okay. All right, very good. I think the Lando arc is probably where they're going with this. What's the gangster in was it The Last Jedi that they did the no, it was wait, was it The Last Jedi? Where they did it was Last Jedi where they used what's his name in Canto Bight and all that.
Yeah.
That I don't think they're gonna go that route. Where he plays like he's the good guy, plays like he's the good guy, plays like he's the good guy, and at the end isn't, and he is the, I think it'll be more the Lando arc. Because Lando, when they did it with Lando, you then rooted for Lando. You liked Lando a lot more, and it made Lando a much more interesting character because you saw that he felt like he couldn't do anything else, but at the end of it all, he's like, I just can't betray everybody. I have to do something. And so he takes a chance and becomes a hero. So, all right. So, let's go to dislikes. And Danny, start with you.
I really dislike that don't seem to have original material. I think most of the time you see a few minutes of an episode, you can kind of predict what it's going to be. And we are predicting what we think is going to be. And probably some of us are going to be right. Maybe just a tad bit off for as whether or not she betrays, whether or not she doesn't, whatever, or whether it's a redemption arc, whether or not she grows a conscience. One of those scenarios are going to happen. Dave Filoni, there's a time you can kind of step out there and kind of incorporate some kind of originality. Right now, I don't see a lot of originality as far as the storytelling. I still like it, but it's very predictable. So if you want to get more people on board of liking this product, then you're going to make it more, you got to kind of kick up the unpredictability aspect of it. That's one of the things that that is to me is glaring about the inadequacies of this show. It's very predictable, so we need to work on that.
Okay. Anzo, dislikes.
Yeah, so first off, it was a filler episode, so I wasn't really feeling that part of it too. Also, what else didn't I like about it? Oh, I didn't like the droid. I didn't like that droid. That droid drove me crazy. I wasn't a fan of that droid.
I agree. He was annoying to me, like you said, little boy was in Black Adam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
talking in the third person like The Rock.
The droid was voiced by the dude that voices Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, was it?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that I didn't like at all. I had something else and I can't remember. Come back to me.
Okay, Sippy, dislikes.
Last week, even the action was worth discussing with the cool tactical infiltration and the close quarters combat and the trick shots Crosshair was pulling off. This week is just racing outside of them setting up the backstab from Sid. I actually had Resistance flashbacks with this episode, and that's not a good thing.
Okay. Austinator.
The main issue I have with this episode is like what everybody else said. It was filler. I mean, we're 4 episodes in, and we don't have a main real storyline that we're following. It's mainly just, it's starting to feel like one-off episodes, and while they're fine and maybe towards the middle section of the series where, maybe you set up the arc, then you have some filler episodes leading into the last few episodes. To me, that's the structuring, but it feels like we're getting more filler than we are actually story, and it is setting up a little bit, but it's just not working. I don't know what it is, because the first season had this problem too, but this season in particular, I feel like it's getting really bad with the filler, and I'm not feeling it. And yeah, the droid was voiced by Sonic the Hedgehog, but like, even though I said maybe last week on Galactic Chat that, you know, I like the droid, but even now I'm like, he wasn't my favorite. At that point, I was just trying to grasp at straws to kind of say what I liked, but the droid was just very to me. And just overall, just this episode didn't work for me.
Okay. Elihu.
I'm gonna be a parrot. This episode is a filler. Squawk. Well, let's start out about it was very predictable because as soon as Tech said I haven't analyzed this race yet, I'm like, okay, so Tech's gonna be a pod racer. Okay, I see that coming. Something happened to Teo. Yep, predictable. Totally predictable. The tunnel was the closed off tunnel. I'm like, okay, it's closed off for a reason. They're gonna end up explaining this, and they're gonna be using it. Yep, called it. Too predictable. Speak about the tunnels. I have a complaint about the tunnels itself. What the hell is the point of the billboards? These racers are not going to see this. What was the point of that? There's no cameras that focus on this, and Star Wars has no micro cameras. So are they hoping that nobody runs into the cameras and breaks them so the audience can't see the billboard? So what the hell is the point of all that? I did not get that part. And lazy script writing because, yeah, Tech happened to be there. Tech happens to know how to fix a broken pod. The Tech happens to know how to repair Teo. Yeah, lazy writing for a filler episode. They can at least do better.
Okay. Anzo, go ahead.
No, keep going. I still don't remember.
Okay.
I think someone was saying it. I don't remember.
Stoners.
Yes, you know, don't you? I think for me, the biggest thing about this is I would have cut back on the whole fixing it. I would have, once they destroyed the robot, just leave him out of it. You don't have to bring him back. We knew where they were going with it. We knew Tech was going to be in there. Just put him in it. And then they could have taken out a few of these scenes and they could have expanded the racing. I think they needed to expand the racing. They should have at least given us, and like I said, this is why I asked this at the beginning, they could have at least given us something that said, hey, this is a derivative of pod racing, or this isn't. Hey, I know, like they could have said, well, oh, isn't this just pod racing? And then Sid could have said, oh, no, this is so much different. Much like some people say, oh, this is, oh, it's the same thing as this. Oh, no, it isn't. No. You get people who are rivals like Star Wars and Star Trek. You have somebody in the middle of it go like, well, aren't they the same thing? And both of those two people are going to rip into why Star Wars or Star Trek is better and what the differences are. And at face value, if you were to see it and you're not a heavy fan of it, you're going to say, yeah, they're the same thing. Look, there's this racing thing. It goes through these tunnels. It does this. It does that. What's the difference? And then you could rip into it. No. You see, listen, humans can't pod race. So, unless you have Jedi reflexes, it takes special abilities to pod race. This doesn't take that. That's what they're going to do. What we did at the beginning, they're going to rip apart that. That would have been perfect to put in this to at least give us some context as what were they trying to do.
I remember what I was going to say, Chris.
Okay, cool. This whole thing, and I think we've all kind of said it, the whole filler episode thing last year made sense at the end because they had Kamino. And when they destroyed Kamino, it all felt like, okay, maybe we see where they're going. Everything led towards that because they were showing Kamino getting, evacuated and them taking stuff off of Kamino. This really, I don't know where they're going to go with this, unless I know I've seen screen grabs of them on a destroyer. So I don't know if maybe they're going to try to attack the Empire or something like that, or I really don't know. It just seems like it's really just. I don't see where they could lead this. It made sense at the end of last season with Kamino and all that. That's where they were going. So right now, there's nothing that makes sense for this group to go to that the fillers lead to, unless Sid somehow is going to factor into that. Okay, Anzo, go ahead.
Yeah, the predictability of this episode. When you watch this episode, there was no doubt that it was going to be Tech that was going to end up flying that pod racer, right? So I was just like, okay, well, we already know where it's going to go. He's going to do it. He's going to win. It was just way too predictable. That was one of the biggest issues I had with it.
And like the death, it's a death sentence tunnel or whatever the fuck they said.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh my word, people! That means they're going to do it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We all knew they were going to do it, and that I think that was like, oh god, they could have. And when they went in there, wasn't it just weird that? Okay, so the bottom part of it was out in one part. Well, we know that we've seen pod racing, go in circles. We know spaceships go in circles. That thing can go in circles as long as there's a solid, place for the force or whatever keeps it floating. We knew that it could make it. So when you see it, it's like, well, if you know what's in it because they have schematics of it, well, what's so hard about it? It's like,
yeah.
I remember something else though that I did
go ahead.
That I did not like. When Teo first got sabotaged, like, he's a droid. You should know that you're programmed for this race. You're able to go fast inside, and hello, you gotta snap cord. You go back, hit the brakes. You got to flip right there. You can easily win this race. He didn't do that. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these riders?
Yeah. Really quick, David has a question for the panel. Is there a character that you would like them to bring back in Star Wars that hasn't returned or killed off?
Mace Windu.
Yeah.
My vote is for Darth Jar Jar.
Okay. Anzo, character to bring back?
I'd have to say Mace, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was just messing around. Mace Windu,
Shifty.
of course.
Grievous.
Interesting. Okay, dive into that a little bit. Tell me how that would happen.
No, I don't know. That's just my favorite character of the prequels. So I don't really think it could happen, but I like seeing him back.
Grievous was really misused. I think that they could have used him a lot more. I think he's almost like the Captain Phasma of the.
Well, they waited too late to bring him in. He should have came in and attacked the clones.
They can bring him back. He can have like that same kind of technology that the Emperor has.
Well, maybe.
He was mostly machine.
So clone Grievous? Yeah. Grievous?
Or an origin story, maybe. That would be cool. Like something like Tales of the Jedi with Grievous.
Okay. Ostinator, character to bring back or that you would like killed off?
Mace Windu.
Elihu? You said Mace?
Yeah, Mace, because there was never no body. We didn't see a body.
And that's the rule in these things. No body, no death. Mace Windu. I think that's a definite all around. Because we've gotten, at least in some form or another, we've gotten a lot of the ones we wanted back, which was Boba Fett. While we may not be happy with the series, seeing him back in Mandalorian, if they bring him back this year, that'd be nice still.
I think that he's the one behind the door that rescued Grogu.
Max Rebo. We don't know if he got killed or not, but he better be alive.
Yeah, but I think we want Mace Windu back, and I know Samuel L. Jackson would come back for it. It's just I think there's a lot of things of would he come back and be evil? Would he come because the storylines that I've read basically said he was. I'm gonna say it. Don't go off on this, but the storylines paint him as kind of that gray Jedi that uses both dark and light, and
like Yoda.
knows. Yes, and Yoda's the similar thing too.
Gotcha.
It'd be interesting if what happened to him pushes him over the edge or something, or if he comes back and he's just mangled or something. I would very much like to see what they would make him look like and what they would do with his character.
Chris,
granted, it isn't, but
he would be a gray Force user because Jedi is a given rank.
Well, yes, but okay, we're not getting into this shit. You know,
please let's not get into gray Jedis.
I have not. I have been very good and not.
Yeah, we all know great Jedis don't exist.
Have fun hanging out with Bubba down there.
Great Jedis do exist. Anyway, no, we're just. Shifty got it. You didn't, Nonzo. Be glad. No, I'm just kidding. All right. All right. So we're gonna finish this up really quick. Grade and final thoughts for this episode of the Bad Batch. We're gonna start down with Austinator. Austinator, you go. And to the people in the chat, there's a poll. Vote on that. Tell us what your grade is. Go ahead, Austinator.
Oh God, it's me. All right. I'm gonna give this episode, and you know what? I'm gonna start being harsh with this stuff because, again, like I've said, you know, for the past, even in season 1, when we got filler episodes, the more filler episodes we get, the worse the grade's gonna be. So I'm giving this episode a D-. This was a really, I gotta be consistent. The filler episodes are just not doing it. They really need to establish a storyline. Predictions for next episode. Best case scenario, they actually do try and do something to develop the story. Worst case scenario, we're gonna get a filler episode. So I hope we don't get another filler episode, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we do. So D- for me.
Okay.
That's
Let's go
the
up to
evolution of Star Wars fan. We in trouble.
Anzo. We'll go to you next.
Yeah, I'm gonna say with Austin, I'm gonna give this episode a D as well. I didn't enjoy it. I think it's a filler episode, a nothing burger. So yeah, we could have done without it.
Okay. Let's go down to Elihu.
Try too hard to bring back nostalgia with the pod racing scenario, but like I said, filler episode. I got to give this a D. Come on, do better. Get on with the storyline. I mean, if they're gonna have Sid have next episode, Sid have the two guys in Omega go on a mission and Crosshairs over here says that'd be great to have a conversation about what happened to Hunter.
Oh,
hello.
Fuck. I remember my biggest dislike. Hold on. I go ahead. I'll let you guys finish, but I remember my biggest dislike now. Okay. Yeah. My brain just kicked in. Oh, shit. I woke up. Damn.
Okay.
All right.
Boomer. Yeah, I give this a D.
All right, a D. Go over and let's go up to Danny. Danny, final thoughts, grade.
I give this a C plus. It's not the quality of the first 3 episodes, but like I said, I don't hate it. I wasn't bored. I agree with Anzo, and I think I said in my turn that negative, it is very predictable. Dave Filoni needs to work on that. He needs to throw us some kind of curve somewhere in there, but you could tell that he definitely was that Tech was gonna be the racer. We knew he was gonna win. We knew he was gonna go down that bad tunnel. So it was very predictable. So, but like I said, I didn't hate it. We don't know whether or not it's filler yet because we don't know. We haven't seen the whole picture yet. Maybe they did that just to give us that piece at the end that may be intricate for the story or as overall. But for now, I give it a C plus.
All right, and Chitty.
I really wish I would have went before Danny because I was going to say I graded a D's nuts because if you grade it any higher, you crazy.
You get the shaft.
Crazy by myself then.
You grade it any higher, you get the shaft, right?
I have a shaft. I don't get no shaft.
No, Eli's the only one that gets shaft. You know that.
Yeah.
Hey, why did I say something?
No, seriously, it was a filler episode. In my opinion, the weakest episode out of the entire series.
All right, I don't think I don't totally agree with that. And actually, Danny, you're not the only person. I'm not going to give it a C plus. I'm going to give it a C. But my prediction is the next episode will involve Crosshair, because they literally, again, like Danny said, Dave Filoni has yet to figure out how to be like, hey, look, I'm going to do something. And we're like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. Every episode, it's like back and forth, and we keep seeing. I mean, that's the formula of this show. what I didn't like, the biggest thing that pissed me off about this episode, how in the hell does a group of clone troopers, which are no longer being used, everybody knows the Empire is what's in charge now, even if they're not in charge of that particular section of the galaxy. How the hell does any of these guys go do a race, win a race, and just wave to everybody like, hey, I'm alive, even though everybody thinks they're dead? How the hell do you not know you need to keep it low? And it doesn't matter, because, again, around gangsters hear this. This stuff gets passed along like it does again with bounty hunters and everything. And those people look for money and ways to get money. You don't think that that if they sold that to the Empire, and again, if you're all the way across the galaxy, you could call, you could find somebody in the Empire, send a message to them, and say, hey, by the way, I know you think Clone Troop 99 is dead. They're not. At least two of them aren't. And then what? It's like, I was flabbergasted about the way that he just stood there and was like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I won. Yay, me.
Admiral knows he's alive.
His name was said over the freaking... It's like, what the hell is this?
But here's the thing, though. The Bad Batch. All right?
There we go.
Not a lot of people probably knew about the Bad Batch outside of, like, the clones, right? And they did not look like clones. Typical clones. They didn't sound like typical clones.
When they put their helmets on, they do. And I know they may not have had their helmets on. I am still saying that if you know that the Empire thinks you are dead, that is okay. Listen, if you kill somebody, if you rob a bank or something, then you see on the news that they say they found a body and they believe it was you. Are you gonna go and still do that stuff? Or are you going to go walk around and say, hey, look, I robbed that bank?
Yeah, but I think that what you said makes sense, but I think that guy that killed the clone that was going to report him, that he's blocking all those kind of transmissions because he know if he find out that Tarkin finds out, his ass is grass. That's why he's trying to cover his tracks.
Realistically speaking, okay, so you work for a sheriff's department, right?
Okay, I do.
Do you get the messages that would be sent directly to the sheriff? Like, there's emails, there's...
Some of them I do, some of them I don't.
Okay. So, the probability of being able to block every...
If the sheriff wanted to keep something from everybody in his sheriff's office, he has the power to do that.
Yes, but this guy is not the top tier person. He's not
But he's the top person in that sector.
Maybe. To me, it just totally... That was like, what the hell is this? Anyways, but that's that. But I do predict we're going to see Crosshair, and it's going to be a Crosshair episode. Hopefully, they put the whole Bad Batch in it, and it's a whole big conglomerate of it, which I think they need to do more of. But they didn't, and that's that. So, anything else from anybody else right now?
Galactic Chat. One of the predictions was that this next episode was probably going to be Hunter and the other guy. An episode for them because they weren't on last week.
I would say that I would say that will be right, but it won't be this episode. It'll be the episode after this. Because again, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they do that. That's something different, at least. Yeah. And maybe they'll do like a little quick callback in the middle of the race, and then do a wipe where Hunter and they're over doing their mission, and they show the mission, so it kind of takes place at the same time as this one. Maybe I don't know. That'd be still something different. So, anyways, nothing else from anyone else. We'll go around one more time and have you guys all tell people what you're doing on your channel, what you got coming up, and we'll start down there with Elihu. Elihu, tell everybody what you got going on your channel.
I am going to be live streaming on Instagram from the Denver airport on Thursday around 9:30 a.m. tentatively local time. Check out some of the mysteries of the Denver airport beyond TSA. I also have a YouTube channel called What's Up with the Universe, where I go basic astronomy, complex astrophysics, that sort of stuff. That's some quick little YouTube shorts up there, which I would highly recommend you guys upload shorts because they have a lot better views than regular videos. And I'm going to try my best to win Name That Tune tonight. Over on Hans Star's channel with the the host, Deej. You know, the crazy Deej, the Jamaican Pink Bunny guy. Yeah, he's going to be the host with the DJ Chris up here. So check me out and see if I can lose again. I mean, or win. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree that I prefer that they start highlighting the clones or the group at least more heavily than all 5 at one time or 4 at one time, that they start paring it down and giving us a detailed look at each one more individually. I totally agree. Ricker's probably next as a focal character. Hopefully we'll see. Up next, Dostinator. Tell everybody about yourself, what you got going on.
Yeah, so you can find me on my channel where on Wednesdays and Saturdays we do the DC animated movie universe reviews. We just finished Batman Bad Blood. We reviewed that on Saturday. On Wednesday we're going to be reviewing Justice League versus Teen Titans, so go and check that out. And also this upcoming Saturday or Sunday, depending, we'll be reviewing Justice League Dark. Also, that Saturday, I'm going to be on Zach Daxiola's channel, going to be reviewing Scream 2. You can find me on the Hangout on the Basco Scenarios channel on Wednesdays, and you can find me here on Sundays for the Bad Batch Roundtable. Chris, thanks for having me on. Let's hope next episode's a bit better, hopefully.
Yeah, you're starting to sound more like an old man who's just defeated in life now with these.
I am defeated it now.
Dude, just say Azeroth, Metreon, Zinthos, and make it happen, okay?
I want to. You know what? I wish there was just like a timeline where, like, if there's a time travel device, I would like to go back in time and tell myself, listen, there's a show called Bad Batch. Don't watch it.
You also go back and say there's some haterade and make sure that you throw it out before you sip on it.
No, I'll be like, listen, when you drink the haterade, mix it with some berries, get some ice, maybe rim the glass a little bit.
Alcohol helps.
That too.
All right. Shifty.
I'm still Shifty. You don't need to find me, but if you want to, I'm on the Twitter. But I don't recommend that. Also, just throwing that out there, how cool would it be if during the season they told the backstory for Luthen?
For who?
Luthen from Mandor.
Oh my god, man, give that up,
dude. Luthen's like the coolest character ever.
You are beating the Andor horse to death. It is dead.
It ain't dead.
They have already made glue, and the glue is being shipped out to Walmart in the country, and you still trying to revive the horse. It is glue.
No, it's coming back. It's got season 2 has already started filming.
The hood's already in the Twinkie mix. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Ain't nobody want to see it to season 2 of that.
No.
I do.
See, there's at least 2 of us here.
What's the worst MCU show yet? I'd rather see season 46 of
She-Hulk.
Or Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk.
No, Ms. Marvel ain't dead.
Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk are nowhere near as good as Andor. No.
Andor is the best Disney Plus show ever.
No, Comic Chat, Cosmic Wonder, or
it's
Comic
good.
Chat, Cosmic Wonder.
I still put Mandalorian better than that, and I put Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldiers over that. I would put that over Andor too.
Give me Meteor Man.
Meteor Man.
Townsend!
We saying, Danny, you'd rather watch Meteor Man than Andor?
Hell yeah.
Then Anzo, what I say is every time that new Andor comes out when season 2 starts, is that Danny has to watch Meteor Man from beginning to the end with you.
Give me Blank Man and Meteor Man over one season, man.
There you go. There's your way in, Anzo. All right, Anzo, tell everybody about what you got going on.
What's up, guys? Big4 Entertainment. You know the deal. Monday night will be Chris's show, The Rule of 3. On Tuesday, I will be reviewing The Best Man, the final chapters on Lorena's channel. Wow. And then Wednesday will be the OOC.
Good deal.
Awesome. Danny.
You can find me later on tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Storm's live show. I'm not sure what we're discussing. Tomorrow we'll be on Chris's show, The Rule of Three, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know, man. Got a lot of free time, so I'm just going with the flow. Definitely appreciate the fact we're doing this for JJ. I'm pretty sure he probably would have liked it. So that makes me happy that we can be able to do this for him, man. He is very much missed.
Absolutely.
Next.
I mean, I'll say this about JJ. I think he would like this, but I think he'd be objectionable to. I don't know if he probably would have said the same thing we said about the pod racing thing. Like, just call it pod racing already. Don't sit here and try to make something better than, I just always, when these things happen, I always feel like it's Disney's way of saying, look, we have something better. No, you don't. You got something that you basically just ripped it off and said, hey, look, here we go.
Yeah, but things always evolve and de-evolve in Star Wars because
they do.
Because
but in order to do that, I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish it. I'll say what
I'm just saying, like a lot of people I hear hate the prequels, but as far as lightsaber battles, there is none better than the prequels. And I know they were younger and that they had their powers and stuff, but the way they fight now in the first three and the last three, it's stuff to put me to sleep. So I mean. Yeah. So things evolve and de-evolve and things get better and worse. I hope in this next evolution of Star Wars movies, Disney or whatever, that they get with the program with lightsabers, man. That's right there, their bread and butter. Good lightsaber fight, a good evil person, a good guy, and a good star a fight scene in the stars. That's it. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. They already got the parts there. Make a fantastic movie. Just change the story, change a different location, change the bad guys, and keep it moving. But they won't do it for some reason. I don't understand why.
I agree. They want to get into all of this political stuff and this and that. And I'm like, listen, man, we want to see Jedi, Sith, lightsabers. Ahsoka, please don't let me down. I'm praying that Ahsoka don't let me down.
Because I was watching, I'm going to say one quick thing. I'm sorry. I was watching Return to Jedi today because it's on TNT. My grandson, he is a Star Wars nut. I am so proud and happy of that. But I was like, okay, Luke Skywalker was supposed to be a master. Why did he need a rock to hit the thing to kill the Anchor? Why couldn't he use the Force to get out of that, first of all, and do all kinds of... it's frustrating me. So I don't even want to watch the old ones now because make me critique them and then gonna make me hate them. So I'm not gonna watch them anymore.
You better watch Peter,
man. I think that Ahsoka needs to have like almost one good lightsaber scene an episode. At least on the par.
An episode. I thought you were going to say one. I'm like, no.
No. At least on the level of the Mandalorian's Skywalker scene. At least on that level. Technically, because he was part of the... What was that?
What she did on her episode was good too, and I think she fought the woman with the
yes, best part spear. Yeah, that was awesome.
What I'm saying is that has to be in Ahsoka 1, 2, because she comes from the old Republic or the Republic, and she has better training, and was a part of the flashier style. That they should give her that ability, and they should show that off more in her series.
Because what I like about the Tales of the Jedi was when old boy was training her with them clones. That was fire. We didn't know. I didn't know anything until I saw that. But that's how she got so damn good. So yes.
All right. Let's see here. We're gonna go over our polls here. Our polls, Evolution got 66% of the first question we asked. What did you think of this episode of the Bad Batch? 45% said 36% said good, 9% said bad, and 9% said jury's still out. Then, do you believe this episode is setting up a betrayal by Sid? 69% said yes, and 30% said no. And then what is your grade for this episode of the Bad Batch? 66% said C minus, C, or C plus. 16% said F, D minus, D, or D plus. 8% said A minus or A. They might want to re-examine that. And then the other 8% that needs to re-examine what they thought is B minus, B, or B plus. So, yeah, you know what? You guys are you guys are welcome to your opinion. We're going to call you crazy for it, especially the A's and A minuses, but okay. I'm Chris Knight. Real Review 3000 is my channel. Haunstar YT is another channel you can find me on tonight. Name That Tune will be at 10 o'clock Eastern. 8 o'clock Eastern will be the weekly wrap-up, games and talking and all that fun stuff. And like I said, we'll go over onto the Name That Tune afterwards, where Elihu is going for the world record of being a loser. At least, 16 in a row or so? I don't know. We've lost.
I forgot. I can't count that.
So if you win one round, you out compete with all the winners or something.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's the same.
Yep.
It's the same as like the Rumble. If you win the Rumble, it goes into a semifinal, and then you go into a semifinal top two.
So you're still in the regular round.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We're still in the regular of the Rumble. I got to get back to that. I think we got 3 more of the Rumble we have to get through, and I might, if I can get it all set up, I might just get it all out at one time.
This has been over a year in the making.
No, it started back in
Name that tune.
September.
Eli,
No.
do it for JJ tonight, man. Channel your
you
inner JJ and win one. At least
Do
win
it.
one.
Do it. No,
If I win this one, I get to compete in the championship.
We started Name That Tune like a year ago with the tryouts, and we had that one show before the tryout. Yeah, but
we did, but we canceled that one show. We canceled that one show. We just started from scratch.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it's been a year in the making. Because my first tryout show was in November. It was with JJ that in November of before he passed. So that's been a year in the making.
We did. Then we went to tryouts, so I canceled that, and then we started back up in late September, maybe.
Thank you.
Anyways.
We don't care. A year or 2 years. Are you doing the weekly wrap up tonight?
Yes. We're doing it at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Okay, 2 hours.
All right, guys.
We're popping under, Danny?
Huh?
You think they will popping under?
Up and under. What?
Popping
No, are you
on
thinking about
there.
coming on the weekly wrap up?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's you doing little silly games, right?
Yeah.
Yep, it is. It's all stupidity. That's what we like. Anyways, so with that said, guys, thank you for watching again. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Bad Batch Roundtable, and always dedicated to JJ. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Peace.
Peace. Oh, by the way, Cincy won.
Say what?
Cincy won.
Yeah, we do that. Long 49ers.
Cowboys, let's go.
Boomers!
No,
Hey, we're still live.
it's the end. How the hell did it not end? Oh
Wow.
my God.